Darkworld list I've been playing. This is like the last time that I'm really going to be doing a video on this one, and then I'm going to try and build my Dolce for a little bit. Emphasis on try because the deck is a glass cannon. This is a lot more fun. Yeah, just a hell of a lot more fun. You'll notice that there is some cards that are missing from the list because I never got around to owning them, and we love playing with like a 13 card extra deck. It's just beautiful the way that you don't get punished for it. So the way that the deck's been performing recently is been quite well. I've taken this to locals now for about 3 or 4 events, and each event we've done quite well. Last one came second, the one before came first. This isn't just like some absolute just ass sort of thing. A lot of the events have been a case of like Sword Soul's been played there, Drytron's been played there, a mixture of just stuff, the highs and lows. So anyways, we're going to get into the deck because you're not going to want to go through the list sort of thing, because the local report isn't as entertaining as anything sort of bigger, and I haven't played anything bigger in a while. So we're going to start off with 2 regular Grapha and 3 of the Rainbow. I believe that this is like the correct ratio for it. You don't want to play any less than this because it's a free body that just keeps on coming back, and just 3/3 beat sticks. 3/3 because of gates. 3/3 beat sticks are just amazing and just punch over stuff. You have to play the 2 Grapha because if your opponent outs one of them and finds a way to just get rid of it completely, then it's harder to get to the Fusion Grapha, and also because 3 of these Mega Coach Soldier Giant Trainer, so yeah. Then we play the 3 Genta. This set's just for the gates. I was tempted to cut this down to 2, however, it's just amazing because if it's banished while you have a Darkworld, if it's banished while you control a Darkworld card, you just get to summon it back. So there have been situations where I've activated gates, Lure of Darkness banished this because I needed just the extra cards, and then this brings itself back because I have gates up, so it's just good. And then free bouncing back to hand with the big Darkworlds obviously just give me free access to. Then the final 3, obviously, we play the 3 Snow. This says search anything in the deck. It's just search any form of Darkworld. 2 Silver. I was wanting to cut this down to 1, but you do want to draw it as much as possible. You don't require 3 because it's a dead card that you can't summon, but it's the one that rips the cards out of hand, so you need to see it as quick as possible because if you see it with the Ceruli, you get to rip more cards out of your opponent's hand, and if not, then they just start with 3 cards because one's going to get eaten up by Fusion Grapha. Even if they droplet the Fusion Grapha at the start of their turn, you just use its effect at Silver, and then they're 2 cards down. Fair enough to get to pick, but it's harder to play against a board of just random stuff if they've got all of that. That's really it for the Darkworlds. You don't play any of the others. You probably saw on the side that there is a gold there, but even then that's kind of iffy because gold only works going second, and if you're going second, your opponent's going to probably make a Dweller and just like absolutely ruin your life. But besides that, this is like the better version of this at 2 and this at 1. You wouldn't want to play more than one Ceruli because it's dead and it's kind of a neg 1 if you don't have Silver. Snow is just amazing because it just gives me free search into anything. Unfortunately, we don't play Dealings, we just play the good cards instead to get to it. And then instead of actually playing Dealings, we just play a hella ton of dangers. So we play the 3 Nessie because this just searches any danger. 3 Mothman because it is a level 4. If this was not a level 4, it would be worse. But the fact that if your opponent doesn't hit this, it makes a free Dagaris, and if they do hit it, you still get guaranteed Darkworld. So that's why we play this. This is just because it searches any form of danger, so it's the free way to Mothman, and it just guarantees more good stuff. It's not as good as it could be. It's not as good as it could be. If it was a level 8, it would be great because Coach Soldier Giant Trainer is a card, and unfortunately Galaxy Tomahawk doesn't exist. Then for the rest of the dangers, we play the double Bigfoot because popping face-up stuff is better than popping sets, and also it's because it's a big beat stick. The 1 Thunderbird, because you need it as a name. You don't want too many of the same names as dangers because you'll end up drawing multiples, and then you just don't get to summon them at all. The 1 Tsuchinoko, I am tempted to take this out because it doesn't do anything in regards to all the other dangers. Fair enough, it's a guaranteed body. However, I would rather have the second Thunderbird at this point because it's just another big monster and it gets into Coach Soldier and the bigger exceeds a lot quicker. 1 Jackalope because free summon Most of the time I actually want this to hit the grave. But Saryuja fodder. And then the one Danger Chupacabra. This is actually a lot more broken than I thought it was, because Gates actually ditches. Gates discards a fiend, so there have been certain situations where I have discarded this off Gates, or I've used this as banished materials for Gates, because it's amazing the fact that this is a fiend. I might bump it up to 2 instead of playing the second Thunderbird. It just depends. And also because it's a free revival, the amount of times that I end up drawing into these and they just get sent to the grave because my opponent's just great at sniping, that's just how it is. And having a reborn of dangers gives me free access into my XC, so I can guarantee not dying. And finally, off to round off the monsters, we play the 1 Zephyros and the 3 Radiant. Now, the only reason that I play the Radiant is because it's a fiend, so it can be banished off Gates, and it's Dark Kaiju, so it can be used as lore fodder, and it outs big stuff. But 9 times out of 10, this has never really come up, because anytime my opponent's made something big that I can't necessarily out like conventionally, I just end up scooping because the Radiant doesn't do anything. Lava Golem does more, so I do contemplate siding this every time and then just playing some more draw stuff in the main so I can get to better cards. Zephyros, we just play it because you bounce back your Gates, you bounce back your dangers, it's a free body, and it allows me to make Apo a lot more easier. And that's it for all the monsters. For the spells, we play the 3 Gates to the Darkworld. You have to play 3 Gates. We tried to cut it down to 2 and then play triple Genter, however, the 3rd always does come up. It's just how it is. Ascension, this is the best custom card that the deck could have ever created under the sun. The fact of fusion spell, and it discards. And it adds itself back, so then we can do it during our opponent's turn. Just amazing like that. 1 Archives, this is the only Darkworld card that we play. It's because it's a free discard. Now, if we open up this in a silver, it means that your hand isn't completely dead, because you can start just drawing some stuff, and if you get a danger, it's even better. 1 card destruction, this is free ash bait. You always ash this. If you do not ash this, you lose, because it means I'm just going to resolve a lot of cards and get a lot of advantage very, very quickly. So every single time you open this Darkworld play, this card that you only really want to ash. You can ash Snow, because it's free searching, but you mainly are worried about this. And then the final 3 is just the 3 of all. This is just draw spell. That's it. Just draw spell. The extra deck isn't fully complete. I know it's kind of incomplete. I could have played some other stuff in it because it's literally cards down. But we'll go through what we have first. So we have the 2 Fusion Grapher. The 3rd does come up. I am contemplating playing at 3, but that's just mainly because of how my locals is play. They're a bit more used to going up in Darkworld, so they tend to out these a lot more easier. And the fact that this keeps on bringing back the Grapher means that the Ascension will always be online, because the amount of times I'll make this, they will out it, and then I make another one during their turn. That one gets outed at the start of my turn, so then I have to make another one. So the 3rd one does sometimes matter. It's not ideal, but it's kind of okay. The 1 Nutcracker, this is just, it discards cards. That's the only part that I care about. It discards and revives screens. That's it. Don't really care about anything else. The 1 Saryuja, because draw cards is draw cards, we always get to the cards that we need. Free specialing from hand does come up, but not that often. It's just mainly just the free drawing. It's just the 1 Appaloosa, we tend to, the amount of times that I've made this, it just gets impermanent, and then we make this Saryuja off it. Probably do it the other way around. However, I'd rather have the Saryuja on the field than the Appa, because by the time my opponent's going to drop Nib, I have access to this, so it's not going to happen. And if they do Nib me, then I can just Ascension into this, so I don't lose too much stuff. 1 Cerberus, because free discard is free discard, as well as popping monsters. I was tempted to play Unicornix, however, this Cerberus is more useful to me than like anything else. And then the 1 Phoenix, back row removal is really like the only back row removal besides Grapple. Then we play the 1 Akashic Magician. I keep forgetting about zones. This card would be a lot more better if I actually played properly and actually acknowledged that zones are very, very important. It's used to bounce stack the Ceruli, but sometimes a danger, sometimes a problematic card of opponent, but mainly for Ceruli, that's really it. 1 Dagaris, free draw power plus discarding. The double attack points does come up sometimes. Sometimes it does, because you can make a rainbow very, very big. 1 Bagushka, because it's just There is Flunder at my locals. Well, there was Flunder at my locals, and this just has Flunder. One Coach Soldier Giant Trainer. This says draw 3. That's it. And then the funny combo that I play of the one Raiders Knight and one Ark Rebellion. The reason why we play this is because our opponents never really saw this coming, and then I detach, and they always think, "Oh yeah, he's going to make an Ultimate Falcon." Summon this. What does this do? It negates everything, and then becomes absurdly huge and walks over your boss monster, and you die as a response. Yeah, I was tempted to play Boral Sword over it. However, this it takes less to make this, and my opponent always walks into it. It's literally like the be-all end-all card. If I don't have any sort of good stuff in hand, then it's just a case of I just make that, and you basically all you need to do to guarantee that you win with this is you add up the attack of every monster on the field except for your opponent's monster, and if it reaches 8k, then congratulations, you've won. And that's it for the extra. For the side, it's kind of a bit meh. We tested the one gold. Gold is not that good. It's really not. It could be any other card at this point. I do things like Regeki would actually be good, because you end up with by the time you end up with the stuff to like use Lightning Storm more evenly, you've already kind of burnt through a lot of stuff that are going to permanently stay on field, so you can't Lightning Storm the gates up, so it's kind of a bit sad. The double Denko Sekka, because why not? What back row do you set in this deck besides setting stuff so that you can like Allure of Darkness in Faith or Activated Danger? Besides that, you don't really care. So if you go up against like I know they don't play in local specifically, but if you go up against Labyrinth and normal this, what are they going to do? Seriously, like what are they going to do? The double Twin Twisters. This triggers dangers, as well as this triggers dangers, outbacks back row, and the funny part is this: if you use this to discard Grapher or Overking, then you just have a very big monster that just keeps coming back for no reason, no good reason. And then the one Harpy's Feather Duster. Harpy's is just another one of these, but it's better, basically. The reason why we play this as well over the twin, over Cosmic Cyclone and Lightning Storm is because the discard is actually useful. You can use it just for like the dangers, and some of the Darkworlds, it's actually good to have them in the grave because if you don't have access, if you have access to gates but no way to get cards into grave, this is just useful. So it's free outing of stuff. The good cards of 6 viruses. This is just amazing. Like the amount of sprite matchups that I just keep digging until I hit this, and then we just play this, and then the sprite matches loses. We wait till they waste the normal foot summon, and then once they waste the normal summon, they need to have Jet in hand. If they don't have Jet in hand, well, not Jet, Starter. If they don't have Starter in hand, they lose. If you open up this against Runic, they just lose. You wait till, I guess, you just shotgun this straight away. I wouldn't even say that like you wait till they have found. You just shotgun this, and basically they're just left with Naturia cards, and what do they do from there? The only awkward matches that I've had is where I had to play this very smart against Drytron, where I left this in hand until I think they added back the Meteorus, and then we used this. I did contemplate having this in against Sword Soul, but it was kind of a bad idea. There could have been other cards that could have been in there, but the 6 viruses really do come up. And then finally 3 skill drain. This is the virus that's not the virus. This just shuts down your opponent. I will sacrifice that I can't use monster effects if all my monsters are big beat sticks that just kill you. But yeah, that's really it for the deck. There's not really anything much I would kind of change. Besides like changing the Radiance. I might have not played the skill drains and played more going second cards instead, playing Lava Golem in the side. But it did well. It performed well. In 4 rounds of each tournament, it kind of had like a really good win rate of it would at least win 3 of the 4 rounds. So I know the theory of it is kind of a bit meh, but it does its job and it does quite well. If you've got any suggestions for how it could be improved, obviously besides putting like Hope Harbinger and good cards in the extra, that would be alright. The only sort of side tangential thing that I tested was playing this in the extra and this in the side. So the idea behind it was basically what I did in Crystal Beast. So basically we would keep drawing until we hit this, and then we make this and lock your opponent out spells. But terrible idea, just play a virus. Virus is just a better version of that. But besides that, there's not really much else to get into when it comes to deck. So yeah. If you have any comments on it, on how it can be improved, I love the feedback. We're trying to spread the Darkworld community as much as possible at Halifax. We've infected another person with it. But besides that, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe as always, and I'll be signing out now.